To understand the complexity of the breathing action, I love to use the model of a parachute. And the parachute has this dome shape, the parachute itself, but then it has strings where the jumper is hanging. And the same is in the body. We have this dome-shaped diaphragma, but there are also part of the diaphragma in the middle of the diaphragma which are attached in the front of the lumbar spine. They're called diaphragma crusts. They are two. And when, what we learned in the other video already, when we're breathing in and the diaphragma goes down, this string somehow pulls the diaphragma down like that. Yeah? And then there's even a connection. The crust goes to the, starting here in the beginning of the lumbar spine, but then there is a prolongation of this action through the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle helps to elongate the spine, helps to open the hip or lengthen the hip when you're using it in a long way, not in a contracted way, not in a short way. So the iliopsoas goes here on the vertebrae, in the pelvis, and it's ending up in the leg. So you're connecting with the iliopsoas, even the spine, the pelvis and the leg, and through the diaphragma connection, even the thoracic spine. And what is so important, what is so beautiful and great in Bowspring, that we working counterbalancing, and this is what I want to show also through the parachute. So the jumper flies down, but the parachute flies still up. Whoops. So this is also what happened in the breath. Yeah, we learned that let's see if I can fix it again here. We learned that that the diaphragma goes down, but on the same time the ribs going up. So this is the idea of this lifting and light parachute, and we can think it as a lifting heart. But then there is this weight of the jumper, and we can see it as the weight of the pelvis. And this is so interesting because this lengthen muscle and engage muscles. And this is called, in anatomy terms, eccentric work. So there's a sort of stretch, but also a contraction. And this is what Bowspring wants the whole time. We have engaged muscles. I love to say engaged, not contracted muscles. That means they are long, flexible, elastic, and strong at the same time. And if we're working then also with the back side, we have an equal tone, antagonist and agonist, but this is another story. Yeah. So just what I want to point out today is this interaction between a strong and rooted pelvis, yeah, a long psoas, and even this connection of the diaphragma, this cross inside the middle line, and this light heart and even light thorax and ribs, which are working in two directions, down and up. And the whole time we are playing with this balance. The diaphragma rise up and the hips rising down, or vice versa, the diaphragma goes first and then the hips are following. But there's a counter action. I like this idea of counter action, or even thinking about multi-directionality, so that there is a wideness in all sides circumferentially, then there is this grounding and this lightness. So we engage not only muscles, not eccentric muscle, but we engaging the whole web, the whole tensigrity. It's also a nice word. I can talk about this another time. So one more time, what I want to point it out, diaphragma is light, pelvis is rooted, let's say, not heavy, rooted, feet and roots, and in between we have the strings, and in between we have the links between ribs and hips, and this opens the tissue, and as we learned in the other video, it engaged the tissue and it strengthened the tissue while lengthening. This is so important. And now another funny picture. how is it called, the umbrella. So the umbrella you can also understand the breathing better. So here, imagine this is the string. Here it's a bit more fixed. The string is elastic, but it pulls the middle of the diaphragm down, but on the same time, yes, it pulls the ribs up. So this is what happened in the inhalation. Inhalation down, ribs up, and exhalation the other way, ribs down, diaphragm up. Ooh, ooh. So you have this lightness, and the same idea was with the parachute, that you have lightness, and we also see that you have a sort of tapering in the middle. That we have a dome, and we have a middle, and we have this waist which engage in the middle, and then we have this wideness, what I explained in the other video in the pelvic floor. I let it fly last time. It was a bit fast. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean.